Hey Brian, so we are here in View Park with views to downtown LA, Leimert Park, all over LA really. And we're visiting a very special home. It's a little bit different than what we typically do.
I'm excited about it. This is a Proto Home. That's the brand name of the company that designed and built this. And their idea is prefabricated manufacturing components. And so what we have here is a mechanical core, a two-story mechanical core surrounded by the bathrooms and the kitchen, and then the bedrooms and public spaces are sort of outer lying. So it's all built around the core. And then the exterior panels that can kind of be removed and replaced. So it's prefab. They got 100 of these built over the past 15 years, and it's a prefab success story.
So what's interesting is that the organization, the way it works is everything has to surround the core, which means that you can't simply just put a bathroom on the other side of the house. It all has to back up or be surrounding that core to some degree. But the nice part about that is that if something is leaking or something is sparking, you can actually go into the core and visually see the innards, so to speak.
Yeah, we were in that space and we were both standing upright in a two-story volume filled with plumbing, electrical, heating and air conditioning components. And that's great for construction efficiencies. And a tradesperson isn't gonna have to get down on their belly and crawl under the house in a 18-inch crawl space, but it makes it difficult if you want to remodel a home later.
Yeah, I mean, during inspections, when you start seeing the inspector put on their hazmat suit and they've got to go underneath that house and possibly encounter some version of rodents, that always freaks me out.
Makes me glad to be a realtor, not a home inspector.
Yeah, so in this regard, you basically open a door and you're in, and if you need to change the filter, if you need to change, I'm assuming that's where all the valves are and everything, pretty easy. So I want to talk about the organization of the space, but you were just talking about the materials, so I figured maybe that's a good starting point, because I love this. I'm looking at this polished concrete floor.
Beautiful floor. So we're looking at the core essentially. The two-story electrical, mechanical, plumbing core is that way. We've got the living room here with the sort of compression.
You know what's funny? I actually would put the dining room table here. There's something about this double height space.
And I think it was probably, the fixture is here.
Yeah, but that's what's flexible about this space is that you could probably put it anywhere that it's comfortable for you. But going through these spaces, we were talking about all the reference points. And so I was referencing Pierre Koenig's number 2.
Yeah, I was seeing, Case Study House 22, Case Study House 21, Pierre Koenig's Beagle's house. All of those are are Pierre Koenig references.
Yeah, and you were talking about it from the modern perspective of all the architects that were likely being referenced here.
Kind of the palette of materials, seeing the silver metal outside makes me think of Neutra, the monochrome black, white, silver, gray palette. Then you've got this strong black, it's very graphic, and looking at that railing, that reminds me both of Dorothy Street, Pierre Koenig's own home, number 2 in Brentwood, but also the railing reminds me of Beagles in the Palisades.
I'm actually really grateful that you were able to get Frank on the line right before this tour, because we got a lot of information. Do we want to give him some facts about what we just heard, like starting with the amount of homes that they actually built along the way?
Yes, so Frank Vafaee founded Proto Homes about 20 years ago, and they built 100 of these, which is really amazing.
Probably slightly over 100, yeah.
Yeah, because you hear a lot of people talk about prefab, and it's like, well, it's going to be this and it's going to be that, and well, how many have you built? Well, we're going to build and he actually, designed and built 100 of them.
He said everywhere from San Francisco down to Redondo, Simi Valley. I mean, it's all over. So this kitchen is a little different than most kitchens in that some of the cabinetry extends past what you would enclose as the kitchen, and it actually there's a refrigerator back here, and so it looks like a cabinet component, like a built-in, but it's a refrigerator.
Yeah, that almost looks like it might be an entertainment center thing with a TV in it or something, but it's actually got these state-of-the-art Miele appliances and this well-disguised refrigerator freezer. And it's got a good feel. You know, I feel sort of protected in here somehow. Sometimes we see houses where it's an open floor plan and they're undifferentiated spaces, and so it becomes just like it's all the same. Where in here, you're sort of sheltered by this overhang, and yet you're connected to the living room and the dining room and the public spaces in the house.
So we're at the entry and we've got a little mini compression overhang here, but the space does this compression and release, but my wife always tells me, Michelle, she's like, I still don't know what compression and release is, and I know you're gonna be able to explain this better than I can. What is compression and release?
I think, you know, Frank Lloyd Wright kind of made that pairing of words famous, because you get this 8-foot tall space that kind of comes down and compresses on top of you as you enter, and then it releases into this 2-story volume. And so whether you perceive it consciously and articulate it or not, you know, you feel that. And so there's a heaviness and then a lightness that follows that is dynamic in this space. And I love the fact that it's just a, you know, 4x8 little mini compression, as you said.
You know, it's interesting because I can imagine people feeling more comfortable underneath the compression spaces and then feeling like too open in the release spaces.
And then in this 2-story space, you know, you've got this Robinson decking, which Case Study House 22 and Case Study House 21 made famous. That's a, you know, roof metal decking material that could have concrete poured on top of it. And it's shown as both a functional building material and a finish.
I think it's always nice to get a glimpse of the structure.
I agree. And you see it again in this big cruciform beam supporting the butterfly roof. So we're on the second floor, and immediately I'm drawn to this Marmoleum flooring, which is a linseed oil-based product. Sheet goods, you know, it's not squares, so they're big sheets. I don't even see the welded seam, but you've got one variety of Marmoleum in this secondary bedroom, another in that bedroom, and then we come out across the bridge with 2-story spaces on either side, and we've got the mechanical core with the bedroom or the bathrooms on either side.
Right, so in terms of organization, you got 2 bedrooms over here, but they are gonna use this restroom here, which is dedicated to them. And then in the primary, they've got their own bathroom.
And I actually love this window here that you see that's in line with the stair. A window from the primary bedroom looking down into the 2-story space of the dining area, with another window on the far outside wall of the bedroom looking at the downtown view.
3-dimensionally, it's kind of a cruciform, right? Because you've got this bridge here, and then you've got this linear line here. And good observation, I didn't even notice that until you said that. I love that you could see the planes right from your bridge.
Yep. Great views from up here. And then again, seeing this structure I find to be really attractive. The guardrail reminds me of Pierre Koenig's Beagle's house, in that it's so graphic. You've got the white, you know, this to me looks like Sherwin-Williams pure white up against that black railing.
And not too many homes have a bridge in their home. I think it's nice that you can have the ability to have visual connection down to this family room here, this family room here, and you can just kind of yell at people from up here.
So we're in the primary bedroom now, and we walked past the core, the proto core, as Proto Homes called it, and we're in the primary bedroom. Got the Marmoleum, the Robinson decking, another little compression and release. You see the butterfly roof form sloping to drain at that point. And you've got these fantastic views from the snow-capped mountains to downtown to the Lucas Museum, SoFi.
And then in terms of some of the mechanical items, if you look at underneath the sinks in the bathrooms, you'll actually see that they put the returns down below the floating sinks.
Oh, the return air?
The return air, not the return, the supply, I think.
Yeah, I see what you mean, right. So I like that observation, that it's all attached to that 2-story core.
And then you got your walk-in closet, no doors here, but plenty of space.
You don't need any doors on the closet. It is nice to have a door on the bathroom, but again, it's that super flush detailing with the, the knife edge wall, the cut lifting the wall above the floor, and then the knife edge at the top of those doors. That's a really nice detail. Super clean. Well, this was fun. I'm really happy to see. This is my second Proto Homes visit. Frank Vafaee showed me the first Proto Home and gave me a tour, and I was really intrigued by that mechanical core and the panelized system of free-floating spaces. So it's nice to see it again here.
Yeah, and for being 10 years old, it looks pretty good. I mean, I could see it in another 10 years looking exactly the same.
I think it's kind of timeless. We see so much architecture here in Southern California in particular that is really busy and kind of screams at you, I am architecture. And this is understated and functional. It's based on the ideas of economy and simplicity and straightforward design, which I feel is really timeless.
Yeah, so quickly the metrics are there's 4 bedrooms, 3 baths, a little over 2,600 square feet. The lot size is a little over 8,600 square feet. It's in a beautiful view park, which is, again, LA County, not Los Angeles. And who's representing the seller?
It's listed by Lauren Ruttenberg and Erica Lockhart of Compass for $1,999,000. Mark and I were architecture brokers. We'd love to represent you on the buy side. If you'd like to see the house and write up an offer, DM us or give us a call. We're pretty easy to find.
And everyone's info will be in the caption.